Hello everyone and welcome to the NPTEL course in Pharmacognosy and Phytochemistry. Till now we have learned what are alkaloids, what are different classes of alkaloids, and we have started with few examples of alkaloids. In this session we will learn few more examples of alkaloids. We are going to go through Rauwolfia and Vinca, which are indole alkaloids, and black pepper, which is a piperine alkaloid. So, talking about Rauwolfia, Rauwolfia as it's a very Indian plant with the name Rauwolfia, also referred to as Chota Chand or Sarpagandha or Indian snake root. If you see the root, it is tortuous and slightly curved. It contains both roots as well as rhizomes of the plant Rauwolfia serpentina belonging to the family Apocynaceae. Now this plant is found slightly at an elevation, or it grows at a slight elevation, and is found throughout from India to Sumatra, with countries like Burma, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Pakistan, Java. It is also found near northern Himalayan belt as well. Now talking about cultivation and collection, now this drug is chiefly cultivated or harvested from wild plants, but because of over harvesting it has become endangered. Now as it has become endangered, efforts are on to cultivate these plants, but one issue with cultivation of the plants is the viability of seeds. So alternate methods like plant tissue cultures have also been investigated and researched upon to revive this plant, because it's a rich source of alkaloids which are used in antihypertensive therapy. Now generally the roots and rhizomes of these plants are dug out in the October to November period from a 2 to 4 year old plants, and once the roots are dug up, the plant dies. Now the alkaloid is chiefly located in the roots as well as rhizomes. The roots and rhizomes can be differentiated by presence or absence of pith. The stems generally, or the rhizomes, will have the pith present, whereas the roots will have it absent. The roots are about 10 centimeters if you go to see the marketed sample, and approximately 2 centimeters or 0.5 to 2 centimeters in their diameter. And if you go to see rootlets, rootlets are very tiny. They are not there in the final drug, but if you see the final drug, you might find some scars or root scars being present from where the rootlets have fallen off. One thing it is observed that the alkaloids which are present in Rauwolfia, that is reserpine, deteriorate in presence of light or darken in presence of light, and as a result this drug is always stored protected from light. Now what does it contain? Going to the chemical constituents, we have seen it once. Now this contains alkaloids which have a indole moiety. If you remember, when we did the session on biosynthesis, we said that it has a little tryptophan like a precursor. We saw the indole moiety and we saw the amines emanating from the tryptophan. So numerous alkaloids belonging to the indole class are present. Generally Rauwolfia roots and rhizomes contain 0.7 to 2.5% of total alkaloids, chiefly as indole alkaloids, the main ones being your reserpine. Now if you see carefully the structure of reserpine, one more thing that comes to your mind is, if you see this moiety resembles to your gallic acid. So it is a trimethoxy derivative of gallic acid which has been esterified here. Now apart from that you have serpentine. Now you can also have cinnamic acid derivative coming out here, which is your resinamide in an esterified form, and you have your yohimbine. Apart from that, it also contains ajmalicin, ajmalinin, ajmalin, serpentine, serpentinin, and you will see residin, deserpidin, and tetrahydroreserpine, robicin, reserpine 9, isoajmalin, and yohimbine. Out of that, apart from reserpine, the Rauwolfia is also harvested for its ajmalin content. So ajmalin in market is taken chiefly from two drugs, that is Vinca as well as Rauwolfia. Now you can check authentic Rauwolfia microscopically. I have a transverse section here. Now this is not a complete transverse section, but a unique feature of Rauwolfia is the root cock especially is stratified, that is it has strata layers, about 2 to 7 strata or layers, as well as shows lignification. So there are lignin deposits and it shows numerous strata, and internally you will see numerous wood elements also being there. Now if you take this Rauwolfia root and treat the fractured surface with a concentrated nitric acid, owing to the presence of alkaloidal compounds, you will get a little reddish coloration. Now if you have a pure extract or reserpine at hand, you can treat it with a solution of vanillin and acetic acid, you will get a violet red coloration. So these are a few things, or these are the chemical tests which will help in confirmation of identity of roots. Now Rauwolfia is used as hypnotic, it is used as tranquilizer, it is used as painkiller, it is used as sedative and antihypertensive. In fact, in low doses it's used as antihypertensives, but if the dose exceeds, it causes depression, sedation. So you have to be very careful. Apart from that, additional effects of Rauwolfia include increased uterine contractions, and if you specifically see ajmalin, ajmalin is used in market for treatment of cardiac arrhythmias. It is marketed in Japan for cardiac arrhythmias, and the usual dose of or antihypertensive dose of resinamide is somewhere close to 500 micrograms 2 times a day. So you can see how much potent it is, and you have to be very careful. Like I said, it is also a sedative, so if you take doses higher than that, apart from reduced blood pressure, you'll always suffer from mental depression. Desperidine, that is levodopa-methoxyreserpine, is a broad spectrum or a wide range tranquilizer, antihypertensive, and comparatively free from side effects of reserpine. Now moving on to the next drug, this is a drug which we see throughout in India, and that is your Baramasi, or what you call it as Sadafuli or Vinca or Catharanthus roseus as people refer to. It comes in numerous colors, beautiful shades, and it is used and cultivated as an ornamental plants mostly in the tropical countries. So Vinca is, you can have a whole entire dried plant of Catharanthus roseus, belongs to the family Apocynaceae. It is marked by beautiful 5-petal flowers and shiny leaves. Now this plant is actually native to Madagascar, but has been cultivated in India, Australia, South Africa, and the North as well as South America. Where all the tropical conditions persist, this plant grows well. Now this can either be cultivated mostly in form of seeds. It grows and achieves a height of about half a meter, and bears brightly colored flowers, especially during the sunny season. It requires water but is generally tolerant to drought conditions. Now if you see the chemical constituents, the roots of Vinca have been reported to contain more than 90 alkaloidal compounds. Now this alkaloidal compounds also belong to the indole category. We saw reserpine, and if you see it here, you can also see the indole moiety being here, that is the tryptophan like. And 1, 2, and you have your nitrogen here. So you can carefully see it essentially has a tryptophan like a precursor molecule. One more thing, if you carefully observe that this is a dimer. So just see this 1 and 2. there's some structural similarities, not in the functional group but in the nucleus. If you tend to join this, you can see more such similarity coming in. Now vincristine, vinblastine slightly differ in their functionality. You can see here. The remaining part is almost similar. So they are called as indole alkaloids. So they are the dimer and vincristine and the vinblastine, mostly in form of their sulfate salt, that is vincristine sulfate and vinblastine sulfate have been marketed. Apart from that, you will find the monomeric molecules such as vindoline or catharanthine, and monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, specifically indole and indolin glycosides are also being present and reported in these plants. Now, where do you use this? Now, this is because of its large structure, it has an important role to play as an anti-cancer molecule. Mostly it acts by interfering with the DNA replication and is known as a good anti-tumor alkaloid used in treatment of Hodgkin's disease. It is used in treatment of leukemias, especially in children. Now, if you talk about the other plant parts, because of its polyphenolic content, it is astringent as well as tonic. It is used in menorrhagia and hemorrhages. So it is a little styptic and astringent because of the polyphenols. Now one more thing is, if you consume the fresh flowers of periwinkle, the fresh flowers or generally the boiled decoction of fresh flowers is thought to be having a purgative effect. But if you, instead of fresh flowers, if you take the dried flowers eventually do not possess any purgative activity. Now coming to the third alkaloid, this is the black pepper. Black pepper is a common kitchen condiment. It is also known as a king of spices or black gold as people refer it, because traders really prized this. And this is actually a fruit which is obtained from the vines, and this vine is of the plant Piper nigrum belonging to the family Piperaceae. So this black pepper is cultivated in South India, throughout the Malabar coast, Sri Lanka. You will see that growing in Indonesia, and these are kind of major producers of spice. You might find some of the cultivation of black pepper happening in Africa as well. Now what you see here is actually a dried fruit. So this is actually how the raw fruit looks like. So if you see a black pepper vine, the black pepper vine to grow from seeds is difficult and takes a lot of time to fruit. So generally the cuttings are taken, they are grown, and this cuttings start bearing fruit somewhere just within 2 to 5 years of their plantation. They climb trees. You might often find them climbing coconut or other trees, and they keep on bearing flowers as long as for a period of 40 years. And these fruits eventually are green initially, but later on they turn red. This if you want a black pepper, they are generally harvested at a stage when one of the fruit in this starts turning little reddish. So we want the raw one, but we want a fully developed raw one. So how do you assume that? So when you have this kind of almost green color fruits or berries as you call them, and one of the fruits starts turning yellow to deep red in color, you pick up those berries and keep it for drying. Now one good way of drying is, these fruits immediately are immersed in boiling water, and during the process of boiling that green color changes to little brown. Now this, after drying, they become a little shriveled and black in color. So that is how they obtain their color. Now about the other pepper, when you say white pepper or red pepper, they are obtained from this same plants. So red pepper is basically obtained from the ripe fruits, and dried, whereas the white paper happens when you remove the outer coating of it. You will see the internal endosperm part is completely whitish. So the crushed endosperm gives you the white pepper. So the spiciness or the pungency of your black pepper is due to what are called as amide kind of alkaloids. So they are very neutral in nature. So you can see here a piperidine attached to an amide. So this is your piperine, which is the main chemical constituent. Now this piperine may isomerize to different forms, and you might get isopiperine, chavicin or isochavicin. Apart from that, depending upon the length, depending upon what is the attached functionality, you might have other alkaloids also coming in, chiefly amide alkaloids. This includes your pipernolanin, pipershabamide B, C. Then you have your cinemoyl piperidine, pipranin, and N-transfuroyl piperidine. There are numerous others which are also dimers, or even in some cases joint alkaloids, which have been functionalized during the biosynthetic process. If you take the plants and extract it in solvents, you will see that you get what is called as a black pepper resin. So the essence of this black pepper is basically due to compounds such as pinene, alpha and beta pinene, caryophyllene, limonin. You have your delta carnin. These are the major components of oil. So these are responsible for aroma, flavor as well as pungency put together. So black pepper resin is basically what goes as a flavorant in your food substances. Apart from it, black pepper is also known to contain phenolic compounds such as tannins, flavonoids. It also contains steroids, certain lignans, terpenes as well as charcones that have been reported. Now uses, black pepper is used in Ayurveda as well as many form of traditional medicine as an analgesic, antipyretic and antioxidant. Now this is often given in combination, not alone, and it also has one more important activity, that is it is bioenhancer. So you must have come across recently during the COVID epidemic, where apart from your main actives ashwagandha, your black pepper and curcumin were also given, in which the black pepper had to play an important role, definitely as an anti-infective but also as a bioenhancer to other phytochemicals. Because of its pungency, it's used as rubefacient. The burning sensation is known to improve the appetite, increase the digestive power, and that is the reason you will see many of your digestive tablets, even your Hajmola, contains your black pepper. It has antimicrobial properties because of the alkaloidal content. It is used in treatment of fever, colic pain, dysentery or piles, and in certain cases for even infection of worms. It is known to be anti-inflammatory, or it reduces inflammation by inhibiting mostly the lipopolysaccharides, and it is known to have a protective effect on key liver enzymes. That is another reason numerous Ayurvedic churnas use black pepper as a combination along with the actives. So these are the example of three herbs. What we did today is reserpine, vinca and piperine. If you want to read further on this topics, here are few references, and thank you everyone for your patient listening.